Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to the Baltimore Arena for tonight's MISL matchup between the visiting St. Louis Ambush and your Baltimore Blast. Fans, right now, check out Blast Vision for the MISL standings presented by Care First. Now let's look at tonight's players to watch, presented by PressBox. Now it's time for tonight's MedStar Sports Medicine Injury Reports.
Did you know that dancing can do wonders for your health? It's been proven to reduce stress, strengthen your heart and lungs, and actually improve bone density. Tests show it can even improve brain activity. At Care First Blue Cross Blue Shield, we give you even more to dance about. More choices, more experience, more doctors. So if you know what's good for you, keep dancing. Care First Blue Cross Blue Shield. More to feel good about.
Too much to do and too little time? Now you can bank when it's convenient for you. With free online banking and free mobile banking from First Mariner. Check your balance, deposit checks, pay bills with online bill pay, and pay people with Pop Money. And manage all of your finances with Mariner 360. You'll save time and money because at First Mariner, online banking and mobile banking are free. It's like adding a 25th hour to your day. Courtesy of First Mariner, Baltimore's community bank.
Every day, all across Maryland, we help employers keep workers safe from accidents and injuries. We're Chesapeake Employers Insurance Company, formerly IWIF. At Chesapeake Employers, workers' compensation insurance and workplace safety have been our mission and passion for nearly 100 years, and will be for 100 more. We help protect Maryland workers because
at the end of every workday, someone's waiting for your safe return.
Connect with your local agent or visit us online.
Baseball and my family seem to go hand in hand, seem natural. Seems to be built into everything I do. I'm hardwired into MedStar Sports Medicine the same way. I pick up the phone, I call them, I go. They're the sports medicine experts. I trust them.
Good evening, Blast fans. My name's Dave Ricklin, and we would now like to celebrate a number of young people who have achieved great success in their own respective endeavors as they take the field for our Parade of Champions. Please welcome the Soccer Shots. Come on. Sinai Hospital. Make some noise for Bel Air Soccer. All Pro Dads. Parkville United. We want to thank Metro PCS, Pizza Bowlies, Sports Authority, and Factory Direct Uniforms, all proud sponsors of the Parade of Champions. Give it up for Northern Elites. Cardiff Extreme, HFC, Baltimore Bays, Stars Soccer Club, Herondale Crossfire, St. Joe's Fullerton, Essex Elementary School, AFC. And that, ladies and gentlemen, is our Parade of Champions. Let's hear it for everybody, Blast fans.
Coming to you live tonight from the Baltimore Arena in downtown Baltimore, Blast Soccer is on the air. Hi again, everybody. Gary Stein and Paul Mittermeier, your Blast broadcasters. Tonight, the Blast host the St. Louis Ambush, Paul, technically an expansion franchise in the MISL, but these two cities have some soccer history in common.
Yeah, definitely. The Blast have won 2 championships against St. Louis teams way back in the day. And then, of course, that fantastic series in St. Louis in 06, where the Blast won in the golden goal format against, I guess, was the St. Louis Ambush then. And, so some good history, but these two teams meet for the first time tonight.
So the Ambush come in at 4-6 on the year. They're in 5th place in the MISL. The Blast, meanwhile, are hot. They've won 6 games in a row. They're 7-2. They're 1 game behind Milwaukee in the league standings.
Well, Gary, it all gets down to these 6 games. Talk about being hot. it's all about defense. And you look at the numbers, and they're kind of disgusting when you look at them. 3 shutouts, a game where they allowed 2 points, 6 points against one of the, or what was the highest scoring team in the league then, the Missouri Comets, and then another 5 against Pennsylvania last time out. So you add it all up, it's just over 2 points a game in this 6-game winning streak. And of course, talking to Danny Kelly before the game in true Danny Kelly fashion, he says, you know what, we could be better. I'm seeing things I don't like. You got to correct the mistakes. We can be better. But at this point, they're allowing 2 points a game.
Well, and I'll play devil's advocate, and I know you had this conversation with Danny, and he kind of did too, and with no disrespect intended to anybody, but 4 of the 6 were against Pennsylvania, and they're obviously struggling this year.
Well, yeah, that's true, but, they're putting up 8, 10 points against other teams, and, while you admit that the competition has been weaker than you would expect, a couple of those games, Rochester is a pretty good scoring team. Missouri's a pretty good scoring team, and there was a couple breakdowns against the Missouri Comets to let them get out in front early, Gary. But when you look at the 40 or the 60-minute body of work in that game against Missouri, it was a pretty good 60 minutes of soccer defensively for this team. So, yeah, there are mistakes that need to be corrected, and this is going to be a good test. This is a pretty good St. Louis team that can put the ball in the back of the net. I think the Blast will get a good indication this weekend. Home game against St. Louis, and then on the road at Syracuse on Sunday, of just where they are in this league right now.
St. Louis coming in winners of 2 of their last 3. The last game was a very exciting one. They beat the Rochester Lancers 14-12, coming back with 5 points in the last 2 minutes of the game, a 3-pointer to win the game in the last minute. Let's talk a little bit about them. Their big guy, O'Dane Sinclair, leads them with 25 points, and he is a threat now to be watched.
Yeah, he's a guy but I think this is the difference, and we'll see how it plays out tonight, Gary. But we talk about this all the time. When you scout St. Louis, what do you say? Stop Sinclair, and you're probably going to have success. When you scout the Blast, what do you say? You stop Max Ferdinand, somebody else scores. You stop Mike Localand, somebody else scores. You stop, Tony Donatelli, somebody else scores. So, I mean, the Blast have so much more. Obviously, Sinclair's a guy, though, that the Blast have got to account for tonight in this match.
And here come the St. Louis Ambush, as you see, getting ready to make their way out onto the field and get introduced. We should also mention a weapon from outside for St. Louis is Corey Dow, who has 5 3-pointers. He doesn't have any 2-pointers. He's got all 3-pointers, including 3 in his last 4 games.
And I'll tell you what, that's an aspect of this game that you look at, and it's you translate over to basketball. There's guys out there that are 3-point specialists, and the bottom line is we always talk about this. 3 is more than 2, and anytime you have guys that can score from long range, that's definitely going to be an advantage for your soccer team.
Talk a little bit about the Blast and who's hot for Baltimore. And it's interesting, you can run down a list of names that are familiar to Blast fans, but I would argue that the hottest Blast player right now is a guy who's only played 4 games in his entire career and has yet to be stopped in any one of them.
Well, and it's Diego Zuniga.
Zuniga,
I went down to the locker room. Danny Kelly was giving me a hard time after watching our last broadcast, and like, what are you calling this guy Zuniga for? It's Zuniga. So I went over to Diego. I said, Diego, what's your name? He said, Diego Zuniga. So we're going to call him Zuniga. And, yeah, well, you're absolutely right. He's been hot. He's shown the ability. And we talked about this in one of the previous broadcasts. He's a guy from Costa Rica. Great story about, having an open mind about where you're getting players from. But he's a guy that played indoor in Costa Rica. So he comes to the Blast with kind of those already understanding those nuances of playing the indoor game. And it's really paid off for the Blast. And he's really shown that potential right from the second he stepped foot here in the Baltimore Arena field.
Both teams have had 2 weeks off, and that means the goalkeepers are rested. William Van Zilla for the Blast tonight against Jeff Ritchie for St. Louis.
Well, Gary, how about the story? I mean, you look at the Blast goalkeepers, and the numbers are staggering when you talk about what they've been able to accomplish. And Jeff Ritchie, very good goalkeeper. He hasn't had the support in front of him that you would hope for as a keeper so far with St. Louis. But when he does get that, he's an athletic guy. He's a guy that can make plays and come up with some big saves for them.
We'll take a timeout here. When we return, the start of tonight's game between the Blast and the Ambush from the Baltimore Arena.
Are you ready for MISL Soccer? It's time to meet your 2013-2014 Baltimore Blast. Starting in goal this evening, number 0, William Van Zilla. Forward, number 4, Diego Zuniga. Forward, number 7, Levy Wapu. Forward, number 8, Lucas Roque. Defender, number 9, Perdili. Forward, number 11, Tony Donatelli. Starting it forward this evening, number 12, Adriano Dos Santos. Midfielder, number 13, Lucio Gonzaga. Defender, number 14, Steven Daru. Forward, number 15, Adato Nato. Starting in midfield this evening, number 16, Max Ferdinand. Midfielder, number 17, Drew Yates. Midfielder, number 19, Marco Mangione. Starting on defense, number 21, J.T. Lue. Starting on defense, and your Blast captain, number 24, Michael Kingland. And now the coaches of your Baltimore Blast, assistant coach David Basco. And the head coach of your Baltimore Blast, Danny Kelly. There they are, Blast fans, your 2013-2014 Baltimore Blast. Ladies and gentlemen, this time we ask you to please rise and remove your hats for the singing of God Bless America by tonight's special guest, Sabrina Knott.
God bless America, land that I love. Stand beside her and guide her through the night with the light from above. From the mountains to the prairies to the ocean wide with foam. God bless America, my home sweet home. God bless America, my home sweet home.
Sabrina Knott. And now, ladies and gentlemen, we ask you to please remain standing as we honor America with the playing of our national anthem performed tonight by the Sparrows Point High School Band.
And back at you here from the Baltimore Arena, Gary Stein and Paul Mittermeier. The Parade of Champions is complete. National anthem has been sung. The two teams have been introduced, and we are just moments away from blast and ambush from the arena. And as far as this game is concerned, let's also take you around the league real quick. Two other games, as 6 of the 7 teams are involved tonight in play. Syracuse and Rochester are tied at 2, middle of the first quarter in Rochester. And also later tonight, Milwaukee will be at Missouri.
Starting lineups, William Vanzelli in goal, of course. Levy Wapu, his first start of the season. Up front with Adriano Dos Santos, Max Ferdinand as well, JT Noon, and Mike Lookingland in the back for your Blast. That's your Blast starters here against St. Louis. Batman's in the house. He's at midfield right now.
I was going to mention it is Superheroes Night, a special Blast promotion. And actually, I could be wrong about this, but I think it's the first Superheroes Night they've ever had here at the arena. Can you remember like another one like this?
No.
You got Batman, you got Superman here tonight. I'm not sure who else, to be honest with you, but we'll find out.
You see Superman?
I heard that Superman was in town. He
okay.
He flew in.
He flew in?
Yeah, he flew in.
Okay.
So, we'll see. Hey, let's get back to the keys of the game brought to you by Webb Mason.
Obviously, defend Sinclair, Antoniuk as well. Play strong team defense. We talked about the points you guys averaged last 6. And, Gary, I've never seen that third one before. Execute on free kicks and power plays, really?
Seems to be a staple when you think about it.
It definitely seems to be a staple. I want to get back to the goalkeepers for a second. I don't think there's a wide, vast chasm of talent difference between Vanzella and Ritchie, but I think it goes to show you what you talk about, what the defense does in front of you, because Jeff Ritchie's a very good goalkeeper, but you look at his numbers, and Jeff is giving up 14.65 points per game, whereas you look at the numbers for the Blast, Vanzella at 540, and Troy Hernandez is 2.3. So.
Now, I actually heard that Batman is the backup keeper for St. Louis tonight. In case Ritchie gets, hurt or whatever, that they can call on Batman. And he can do it in full regalia, by the way.
That's nice.
So he can spread his arms, his wings, and that's a pretty imposing
he can make himself big.
Exactly.
Make himself big in front of the cage. There
exactly.
You go.
Two teams coached by soccer legends, actually. St. Louis by Daryl Duran, who won a championship as a coach and a player back with the Ambush in 1995 in the old NPSL. And Danny Kelly, game by game, season by season, establishing himself in the Hall of Fame of Blast coaches. 7 championships he's been a part of now, and a staple now here in Baltimore.
How about the numbers, Gary? 21-5 last year, of course, but 115 and 58 under Danny Kelly all-time, 665 winning percentage, and that carries over to the playoffs. 12-7 in the playoffs under Danny Kelly. That's a 632 winning percentage.
And David Bascom right there along with him. Kelly, by the way, was named the player coach when Tim Whitman was let go by the Blast in 2006. Why that has significance is because that was the year where Danny Kelly led the team to the championship against St. Louis, what we were talking about earlier. Tonight's officials, Rich Grady, Sean Papperman, Nathan Anderson. Fourth official is Paul Airy, and manning the penalty box tonight will be Matt Boren. So there you have it tonight. It is the Blast and the St. Louis Ambush, the first of 2 meetings between these teams this year, and it's the only time that St. Louis will join us here in Baltimore for a game. So the team's now out on the field. The Ambush will be in the white uniforms with the blue and green trim. The Blast in their familiar home uniforms, the burnt orange, the yellow, and the burnt orange shorts. It'll be Richie in goal for St. Louis. 3-6 of 1465 points against this year, a 7-11 save percentage. And William Vanzella for the Blast. He's 4-2, second in the league, 540 points against, fourth in the league, 788 save percentage, 52 saves in 66 shots faced. It's hard to believe that the Blast have only allowed 14 goals in 9 games.
Look at the save percentages. Vanzella's at 788. You think that's great? How about Troy Hernandez? 857
in 3 games.
Starting to get up there towards like hockey goaltender percentages when you talk about 857. That's just unheard of in this game.
Scratches tonight for Baltimore include the Diesel. Mike Diesel, number 20, will not be in uniform. And Freddie Musin, we should talk about this, has been unavailable now for the Blast for, I think it's the 3rd consecutive game.
Yeah, dealing with some injuries. Freddie just isn't healthy right now. And, he's a missing piece for this team. He's a great guy up front, ability to hold the ball as a target, and has some scoring ability as well. And he will be missed for the Blast tonight.
Chris Mattingly, who got his 6th attacker win in goal for St. Louis last time out, is a scratch tonight for them. Pat McSheehy as well as Michael Roach. Everybody else involved. We should also mention Jeff DeMaria, who is a St. Louis legend. In fact, he's in the St. Louis University Hall of Fame, Athletic Hall of Fame. He is the assistant to Daryl Durant tonight, and he is also a player.
He's on the floor.
We will see him as we see him right now on the floor. And we are underway here from Baltimore. It's the Ambush from St. Louis against the Baltimore Blast. St. Louis has the first pass to the yellow line, and it is a 3-line violation, and gives the Blast their first scoring opportunity of the night.
Well, Danny Kelly went over yellow line resets or restarts, and I guess he didn't figure he'd get one at 17 or what? I'm trying to look at this subpar structure. It's 11
hard.
seconds in. Yeah.
Did you call it subpar?
Subpar.
Wow. So it's worse than mediocre.
Yes.
I totally agree. Back post attempt for DeSantos. Nice little spin by Lookingland, and that one is deflected away by the keeper.
Nice idea on that first set piece, and it's a great play by St. Louis to keep it out of their net.
Right here they come now. Mike Mesley, who actually was a teammate of Freddie Musin in Wichita last year with the ball, and now it's kicked up and over the boards by DeMaria.
DeMaria put it up into the St. Louis bench. That's an unforced error.
And so now it is a turnover, and the Blast now will have it with less than a minute gone here in the first period. Again, the Blast riding a 6-game winning streak. Fans, we'd like to take a moment to say a special thank you to a fantastic partner of ours. It's Chesapeake Employers Insurance. They've been a huge supporter of the Blast for quite some time. Tonight they provided us with mini soccer balls to give to our youngest fans. Please show your thanks to the Chesapeake Employers Insurance Company by holding up your mini soccer balls here tonight. Thank you, Chesapeake Employers Insurance Company. Back to the action here with the Blast. Zuniga is on the floor for Baltimore. Again, 16 points. He kicks it back to the keeper in his first 4 professional games. And here's some pressure from St. Louis underway.
Well, you don't see that often against the Blast. Teams really don't press a lot because of how well the Blast are able to clear the ball.
Richie now with it in his hands. The teams have changed. JT Noon out on the floor for the Blast, along with Lucas Roque now in his second year for Baltimore. And here's pressure from Tony Donatelli for the Blast. And they finally do advance it past the yellow line, but not much further. Chad Vandergriff in trouble, and now the Blast take it away. Here's Donatelli in the corner. Donatelli, one of the hot ones for the Blast, had a 6-game goal-scoring streak, snapped last time out against the Roar. Good ball inside, intended for Roque, picked off by St. Louis, and out of midfield for the Ambush. Inside the yellow line now for the Blast. That's Andres Acosta with the ball in.
Well, Blast took advantage of a turnover, but really nothing came of it. And now St. Louis looks to kind of press here and win the ball back. That's a nice job by the Ambush to do it.
Yep, St. Louis getting a little better of the play here early on. Richie has been a well-traveled keeper. Spent some years with Chicago.
Foul called on Zuniga.
And so now St. Louis has it inside the Blast territory, midfield. Good ball up ahead. Nice save by Vanzella as he met O'Dane Sinclair right out in front and made the play.
Good job to clear by Zuniga as he used his body to win the ball. But again, good double team by St. Louis. Nice work by the ambush to win it back, and Sinclair made a nice play.
So on both ends for Sinclair. Here now out of the back they play it. This is Nick Pollard up ahead. Nice one-touch intercepted by Roquet, and he kicks it over the boards from inside the box. It'll be top of the arc for St. Louis. Hey, Blast fans, show your pride for the team you love. Visit our merchandise stands on the stage and around the arena to pick up Baltimore Blast championship gear, as well as other great items to show off just how great a fan you are. Also, tickets are on sale for the annual Blast Fan Club Awards Banquet Tuesday, February 25th at Columbus Gardens. Price is $35 for fan club members, $50 for non-fan club with special children's pricing. Choice of players go to the first purchasers. Tickets and more information available at fan club tables at the arena behind sections 209 and 10. And here we go with 12-12 left in the first and a restart opportunity for St. Louis. And that will be up and over against the Blast. It'll be a kick in for the ambush.
A nice block by DeRue. Nice job by the wall. So the Blast avoids a goal in the first set piece for St. Louis.
So each team with one set piece. There's a shot through the box to the opposite corner, held in by the ambush. In the corner now, Corey Dow. That's the guy we talked about earlier with 5 3-point goals to his credit on the season.
Di Maria that time was hoping for a deflection as he sent it through the box.
Inside, Di Maria sends it, and now kicked up and over, and it'll be a goalkeeper distribution for Baltimore. 11:52 left in the first. Again, the first meeting between these two teams.
Gary, this is the test for the Blast tonight. Unlike Pennsylvania, where you saw the Blast pretty much do whatever they want, Missouri's going to, St. Louis is going to pressure. St. Louis is going to win some balls. They're going to win some 50-50 balls. They're going to do some good job of double teaming. The Blast have to understand where the double team is coming from and move the ball.
Lucio in the midfield, his first appearance on a 4-game goal-scoring streak. Hey, don't forget, Blast fans, free business phones. That's right, I said free business phones. Netacom provides business phones free. With every phone line and internet plan, call 888-NETACOM to sign up.
Mere turnover by Ritchie. Lucio couldn't quite get his foot on it, or that would have been a great scoring chance.
Vanzella off his line. Nice ball up to midfield, finding Lucio. Here comes Gonzaga now towards the yellow line. Cuts it on the near side, on the back post, off the boards. Ritchie reads it nicely and sends it out to midfield. Nice footwork there by Matt Kimball, and he leads the charge for St. Louis the other way.
Nice job by Kimball. As the Blast always try to intercept that first pass. Kimball was able to make an adjustment, not give it away, and able to dribble his way through the Blast pressure. Nice job there.
Back now in the St. Louis third. Ritchie escapes DeSantos. Blast pressing with two forwards here, Donatelli and Yates and DeSantos. They do clear, though, towards the yellow line. And that one up and over, and it'll be a kick in for Baltimore. 10:36, I think, left to play in the first period.
No, you're right. 10:36. I have the better angle of the actual clock that works on the big board.
What about the 2 weeks off, and is it negated because both teams were 2 weeks off?
I don't know. It gives you a chance to rest. It gives you a chance in a season to kind of break down some of your strengths and weaknesses and try to work on some things. And I think both teams able to do that over these last couple weeks.
Levi Wapu, who got the start tonight for the Blast, in there. Ball taken away in midfield by Sinclair. Now picked up by Vandergriff. And St. Louis in control. Hey, Blast fans, Care First Blue Cross Blue Shield is committed to the health of our community and especially the health of our children. That's why Care First Blue Cross Blue Shield is proud to sponsor Saves for Kids with the Baltimore Blast. For every save made by Blast goalkeeper this season, Care First will donate $20 to Big Brother's Big Sister of the Chesapeake. The goal is to reach 20,000 by the end of the year. Thank you to Care First Blue Cross Blue Shield for the Saves for Kids program. Also brought to you by MedStar Sports Medicine, the official medical team of the Baltimore Blast. For an appointment with Team Dr. Richard Levine, call 888-44-SPORT. That's MedStar Sports Medicine, 888-44-SPORT.
We're going to get a 2-minute penalty on the Blast, intentional handball. They're going to say that Donatelli stuck his arm out to make that play. So he'll go to the sin bin, and it'll be a power play for the ambush.
Ambush, one of the worst teams in the league on the power play. They're just 3 for 17 overall. That's 18%. 6 out of 7. Blaster number 2 in the league in the penalty kill. Blast have only faced 6 penalty kill opportunities, and they've saved 5.
Well, check that. It's not Donatelli. It's Mangione that gets called. Hey, if they saw that, maybe they'll see all the handballs in the box now in this game.
Well, now hold on there, Paul. All right, so St. Louis on it. Sinclair, the main player for the ambush. Di Maria is quarterbacking. Right now, Blast fans, you're here and you're having a great time. Let your friends know by liking the Baltimore Blast and checking in on Facebook, and another block out in front by the Blast. St. Louis with 2 good opportunities.
The first one went off the
There's
post.
a drive, and that one's still in play. So 3 opportunities.
How did that first one not go in? Right out point-blank range.
And again, it's Dowell, the 3-point shooter. High, ball still in play. Now here he is again. Steps inside the line, and that one is just wide. And the rebound on the other side. So they're peppering the Blast goal right now with opportunities. And now a foul called on St. Louis. The Blast penalty killers will have a chance to advance.
Good foul that time on Matt Kimball. If Dos Santos gets by Kimball, it's a 2-on-1, so he took him down.
Dos Santos now comes off for Baltimore.
He was going to come off, but he can't because you can't substitute on a dead ball on the floor. So he'll have to wait, and he'll come off once the ball's played in.
And it is played in to his replacement, Roque. And he has moved off quickly. Trying to move in is Healy, and he's picked off there. Kimball leads it the other way for St. Louis. Still on the power play here, just under a minute to go.
Blast trying to rag some time there, and Healy got double-teamed and turned it over.
Off the boards inside the box, Vanzella has the angle. William Vanzella was the MVP of the playoffs last year for the Blast. 16-5 in the regular season, 4-0 in the postseason.
Great play by Ritchie. That was a 2-on-2 on the power play, on the penalty kill for the Blast. Kind of an awkward distribution by Vanzella, but it was effective as he got Healy up and on with an opportunity to score.
25 seconds on the power play for St. Louis. Again, in the box, Mangione. Nice save by Vanzella with the left hand. That one well meant from the outside by Dowell.
That's a tricky one, and Vanzella able to follow the path and just get an arm out.
Di Maria with a blast. One time by Dowell again. This is a bouncer towards the boards. And again, St. Louis, here's Sinclair picking it up for them and keeping it alive.
Well, he picked the pocket of JT Noon.
The penalty is now over. Di Maria, and that one right out in front. Sinclair had a chance. Vanzella boots it away. Keeper is active for Baltimore and now up and over the boards by Di Maria, and a timeout on the floor. We'll take 1-2 with 7:36 left to play in the first. Our score, no score, ambush, and the Blast. No score here at the arena as we continue on. The Blast and the St. Louis ambush. 7:36 left to play in the first period. And right now, Paul, I'd have to give the advantage to St. Louis.
Done a nice job. They've had a power play. They put a lot of shots on goal. A couple good saves by Vanzella. And most of all, they've controlled play over top the Blast and have really been able to hold possession and make some big things happen.
Zuniga on the receiving end and fights his way in the corner, finds Dos Santos for the score, and the Blast have the lead.
And all that goes away when you don't mark the runner and through the box there. Dos Santos, a great feed by Zuniga there for the assist, and Adriano Dos Santos gets a step on his defender, and it's an easy swipe of the foot there past Jeff Ritchie for the goal.
Time of the goal, 7:34 of the first for Dos Santos. That is goal number, 6, point number 12. And for Zuniga, scoring in his 5th consecutive game for the Blast.
And Diego did all the work there. He won the battle, the physical battle along the boards, able to get a step for himself. Here's the Eagles walk replay. He wins the ball, goes down the boards, but nice play off the boards there for Dos Santos. And just not a nice job by Sinclair. Look, Sinclair is a good offensive player, but not a good defensive player there against Dos Santos.
And so the score for Dos Santos makes it 2-0 Baltimore here in the first. Blast have jumped out to a lead. And now pushing his man away is Looking Land. Referee says play on, and so here come the Blast again. Nice left foot boot up ahead, intended for Neto, picked off by the keeper, Ritchie. Now with less than 7 minutes to play in the first.
A good ball by Ritchie there to beat the pressure.
Here's Sinclair now for St. Louis, up ahead with Looking Land, and a foul called, I believe, on Sinclair.
I apologize. It was actually Schmerman was the defender there against Dos Santos, not Sinclair. I don't want to mark a guy that was undeserving. So.
Well, the thing about the St. Louis uniforms, the numbers are thin.
Right.
Hard to see. And so free kick upcoming for the Blast. Blast have Neto along with Donatelli, Yates out there, Mangione on the receiving end right here, and Looking Land for Baltimore. Blast fans, First Mariner Bank. Bank when it's convenient for you with free online banking and free mobile banking from First Mariner. It's like adding a 25th hour to your day, courtesy of First Mariner Bank. The Blast peppering the St. Louis goal, but Ritchie able to keep it out of there.
Good chance for Roque as he was in there in the mix. Just couldn't quite get enough pace on it.
Vanzella now for the Blast. Don't forget, at Bubba Gump Shrimp Company, we're cooking up great food and great fun, just like Mama makes it. We've got something for everyone, from seafood to ribs, steaks, and more. You're sure to go home happy from Bubba Gump Shrimp.
Good steal by Sinclair. Yates with some good help there to break the pressure, and then Sinclair with a nice step in to make the steal. So both teams playing pretty well right now.
Blast Soccer also brought to you by Maryland Eye Care, covering all your eye care needs. From contact lenses to cataract surgery, Maryland Eye Care has you in our sights. Back to the action here. Pat Healy setting up Wapu for the Blast at the yellow line, defended by Vandergriff. Blast lead at 2-0 on a DeSantos goal on a feed from Zuniga off the boards. Here's Wapu going boards, pushed into the boards by Vandergriff. And now the Blast will try to set it back up again. Nice move by Roque to get there.
Good hustle by Roque to win that ball against the double team as the ball got away and was just headed into the corner. Roque with a heads-up play recognized and got over there, was the first man there. Now a good restart opportunity for the Blast.
Roque with 18 points in 9 games, third leading scorer for the Blast this year. His biggest game of the year, 3 assists and 5 points against Pennsylvania back on December 21st of 13. Tied for 6th in the league in assists. There's a drive taken by Noon with a left, and that one is just wide of the net.
Great ball across. Perfect ball across there.
Look at this move by Roque to skip between 2 players. Intended for Wapu and kicked away by Pollard for St. Louis.
It has to be a foul.
No foul called. Roque right in the middle of that. Here's Wapu again with the hesitation. That one blocked out in front, and streaking in is Lucio. But the St. Louis defense is there.
The referee needs to get out of the way now.
That wouldn't be a bad idea. And now they do come away with it in the midfield, playing it back to the keeper, and the Blast continue in pursuit.
A giveaway here. Good chance for the Blast.
2-on-2. Lucio with a drive. Ritchie with the same rebound, and that one's in. DeSantos with both goals for the Blast.
Well, let's be honest here. This has not been the best 5-minute stretch for Jeff Ritchie. That time, the first shot, after Ritchie turned it over, the first shot, Ritchie's got to make that save. He can't allow a rebound. And when he does, the Blast make him pay, and quickly, it's 4-0 Blast.
Time of the goal, 10:25 of the first. For DeSantos, that is his second goal tonight, his 5th of the year, and his 14th point at a timeout on the floor. We'll take 1-2 with our score, Blast 4, St. Louis nothing. Now, while play was stopped here at the arena, Mike Lookingland was in his own end in the Blast third, looking around on the carpet for what probably, Paul, is either a tooth or a contact lens, I would imagine.
Not sure what he was looking for, but he did catch an elbow earlier in the game, and he was looking for something on the carpet down there.
Well, we hope he found it.
I don't think he did.
Neither do I. St. Louis on the kickoff now. Di Maria for St. Louis in the midfield. Blast Soccer brought to you by Metro PCS with no annual contract and blazing fast 4G speed on a nationwide 4G network. Metro PCS, the wireless company that gives you everything you want, unlimited data, talk, and text for a low monthly rate. Also by Chesapeake Employers Insurance Company. Chesapeake Employers Insurance helps keep workplaces safe because at the end of every workday, someone's waiting for your safe return. Connect with your local agent or visit us online. Build your body with Brick. Bring your ticket to Brick Bodies or Lynn Bricks and receive your first month free when you join. Check them out online, brickbodies.com.
St. Louis did a nice job breaking the Blast pressure. They got it into the target, but the Blast Lookingland did a great job on the target there and forced an errant pass and forced St. Louis all the way back to keeper Jeff Ritchie.
Mike Mesley. We should mention Mesley leads the league in blocks. Mesley on the year 20 coming into the game.
Here comes Ritchie, way off of his line.
Also, number 2 in the league, by the way, is Vandergriff for them with 19. Third and fourth are Lookingland and Healy. So the top 4 shot blockers in the league are here tonight. Blast come away with it. Neto midfield.
Yikes. Dangerous pass there back to the keeper.
Not a lot of pace there. Ferdinand in pursuit. Held in nicely by Lookingland. Blast now with a chance. Nice ball, corner.
Good defensive play. That was Sinclair that time. He got a foot on Lookingland before he could make a play.
Look at this. Roque very active. Over to Ferdinand. Nice box in, though, by St. Louis. 2:38 left in the first.
How many times we see that, a scrum, and then all of a sudden the Blast come out with possession, you know? That's just how you wear on a team.
St. Louis now pressuring with 2 forwards, broken up by the Blast. Zuniga, midfield. DeRue on a run. Blast fans, you're at home with Hirschfeld, the official apartment communities of your Baltimore Blast. Find your new home today at hirschfeldhomes.com. St. Louis now towards midfield. Don't forget, Hunt Valley Motor Coach is your official transportation service of the Baltimore Blast. Please contact Hunt Valley Motor Coach for all your transportation needs. Their number 800-924-1359 and ask for the Blast discount. DeSantos for the Blast breaks free, broken up by St. Louis. Mesley
headed to the box looking for the natural hat trick there.
Merit Properties is a full-service real estate firm committed to creating homes for businesses since 1967. Contact Merit Properties today at 410-298-2600 or visit them online at meritproperties.com.
Good 50-50 battle there. And the Blast win it as it was Acosta and Yates, and ended up going off with Acosta.
1:25 left of the period. Neto, the target man, beats Lookingland. Oh, almost 6-0 for the Blast, and it'll be a kick in for St. Louis.
Mike wants that one back. Almost a fantastic assist by Neto there as he threaded the needle, and Lookingland hit the post.
Yates pressuring Ritchie up ahead nicely towards Vandergriff. Met up by Lucio. Blast now buzzing around in the midfield and taking it away. Now the Blast 3-on-3. Good ball up ahead. Here's Yates with a drive. That one blocked by Ritchie.
Nice read by Jeff. Just some textbook soccer there. Way to take the short side away and make the play.
1 minute, less than 1 minute now to play in the first. Blast leads St. Louis 4-0. There's another ball for Lookingland with a left. Blocked by Ritchie. And Mangione will clear back to the keeper.
Don't forget about Hope for Life Night, February 22nd. David Bascom, of course, involved again. We're going to collect soccer equipment, lightly used soccer equipment, and then save your balls. And at the end of the first quarter, when you bring your soccer balls in, everybody's going to throw those soccer balls on the field at the end of the first quarter.
To be distributed to needy children around the globe.
Correct. We're taking them to Guatemala this time.
10 seconds now to play in the half. Don't forget, period, I should say. Get your score, stats, news, and more exclusively on MISL.com. Vanzella covers up 3 seconds, 2 seconds, 1 second, and that is the end of the first period. So, St. Louis with a rush, with an ambush, I should say, early in the game. The Blast, though, have the lead.
No question, and good job by the Blast to get on the board and get the lead.
4-0 Blast after 1.
Your attention to midfield right now, where we are about to see if my friend Brandon Frank of Ellicott City will win a $1,000 CD courtesy of First Mariner Bank in tonight's dice roll. To win that amazing prize, Brandon, you have to roll these 5 dice and either roll 5 letters in the word blast or roll 5 blast logos. You think you can do it, folks? Make some noise for Brandon. Come on, Brandon, take a die. Roll it. Let's see what happens. Here we go. Roll it nice and good. The first is a T. You're spelling it backwards. Here we go. Next one. You got an S. You're doing great. Come on, guys. Let's cheer him on. He's trying for $1,000. Next one. A. He's doing it backwards. This is beautiful. We need the B. We need the L. This is awesome. Come on, Brandon. And oh, my goodness. Make some noise, everybody. This is for $1,000. Can he get the B? He's strategizing. Let's see how it works out. B! $1,000 winner! You did it! That is awesome! Way to go! Courtesy of First Mariner Bank, $1,000. Head on back that way, and hopefully we'll give you the check right now. I'm not sure how that works exactly, but next up, that was exciting. Joining me in midfield is Ron Seaborg, owner-operator at Maryland Sports Arena. They're celebrating 25 years serving amateur soccer in the Baltimore area. Tonight, to celebrate 25 years, they're drawing 5 $250 winners for gifts. Ron Bowen wins a $250 gift certificate. Next up, Kathy Punti. All right. Okay, next up we've got Mahmoud Lee from the Superior Footballers. 2 more names. Steve Harry from PHWM, Perry Hall White Marsh, and last but not least, I know the teams are waiting, Rodney Johnson, Old Line Strikers. Congratulations to everybody who won. Let's go Blast! And congratulations once again to Brandon, our $1,000 winner.
That's one of the promotions the Blast do every game between the first and second quarters.
Second time I've ever seen it done.
So if you do that, if you spell out B-L-A-S-T without doubling up the letters or getting the Blast logo, you win $1,000.
Bam, just like that.
Easy grand. 4-0 Baltimore here. 2 goals for DeSantos in the first period. Teams switch sides. Blast with the kickoff. Roquet towards the keeper. Broken up. And Ritchie makes the play.
Ball took a funny hop off the boards, and Lucas was just trying to keep it alive there. For the most part, Gary, the ambush have done great with the Blast pressure, but the 2 times they didn't was when the Blast scored.
Dan Antoniuk, 10-year veteran for St. Louis, with a foot on the ball a moment ago. He comes off. Antoniuk, fairly familiar, actually, probably to Blast fans. Played for Philadelphia, native of Philadelphia, for a number of years.
St. Louis now giving the Blast some of their own medicine. They get a quick turnover, and what's the call going to be here? Is this going to be a hold? No, going to be a foul on the Blast. I don't know why they stopped play there. St. Louis had won the ball. Here come the ambush now off the boards. Double team. DeSantos and Healy on Sinclair.
They've done a good job on him. Sinclair, though, does break free, and the ball kicked away by Noon towards the keeper.
Just not going to let him beat them tonight. And you saw immediately as soon as he touched the ball, 2 Blast players were there.
Now towards midfield, Pat Healy playing in his 118th game tonight for Baltimore. Over to Lucio in the midfield. CountySportsZone.com, the #1 source for scores, schedules, and standings for all high school sports across Maryland. Visit CountySports.com to find every game every day. DeSantos picked up the last foul for Baltimore. St. Louis now out of their own end. On the out-of-town scoreboard, end of the first half, Syracuse leading Rochester 8-6 the score. Don't forget, Blast fans, borrow smart at MECU, Baltimore's credit union. Go to NECU.com to learn more. That's MECU.com. In Milwaukee tonight, Comets and the Waves starting about 45 minutes. That's turning out to be a great rivalry in this league.
It's a back-to-back for them this weekend, as they'll play in Missouri tonight and then go back to Milwaukee tomorrow.
Blaster in action Sunday in Syracuse. That'll be our first look at them. And that'll be a big game.
Hello to an old friend in Syracuse.
Michelle Millwood, longtime Blast player, 9 years, multiple championships. Talk about the golden goal, about the history between these two teams. He's a large figure in that.
He was the one who knocked it home from the assist from Salenza that won that championship.
Never forget it. Holiday Inn Express Baltimore at the stadiums, the Baltimore Blast sponsor hotel. Pick your hotel room on game night, and it's into the back of the net.
Oh my! What a play! First off, you need to talk about the ability of Neto to create off the boards, and then just a sick move by Max Ferdinand. He puts it in the upper 90, and Richie had no chance there, and the Blast are up 6-0.
And 6-0 is the score. Time of the goal, 2:32 of the second for Ferdinand, the team's leading scorer now with 27 points and 11 goals. And Neto continues to do what Neto does, 5 assists, 15 points.
And when we see the replay, you'll see Neto, because St. Louis is pressuring so much with the double team. Here's the Metro PCS replay. He plays it off the boards instead, and then Max cuts it back to his left foot. And then with the left foot, watch this, the left foot puts it right off the post and into the back of the net.
Right.
Wow.
Little ping pong inside the net, 6-0 Baltimore. And again, they take it over in midfield. Yates with the turnover. Sends it over to Mangione. Here's a chance, and that one is in the net from Donatelli, and it's 8-0 Blast.
Well, what you've seen over the last few seconds is some outstanding skill from the Blast, and pretty amazing. St. Louis has really done a good job in the midfield of trying to turn the Blast over, but the Blast have made an adjustment here where they're just playing the ball up ahead now and trying just to get through the midfield, get their guys into the offensive end. And here for a second time in a matter of seconds, you see a great individual effort from a Blast player, and that title is Tony Donatelli.
And Tony Donatelli continues to dominate the scoreboard for the Blast. That's his 9th goal and 22nd point. He's the second leading scorer for the team.
And what St. Louis was doing, Gary, they were allowing the Blast to come out of their own end and really clamping down in the midfield. 3 and 4 players in the midfield trying to force turnovers, double teaming there. And so what the Blast have done is they've skipped the midfield. They've basically, once they clear the yellow line, playing the ball up ahead and trying to play the ball into space ahead of the St. Louis defenders and the St. Louis midfielders. And that's paid dividends in the last 25, 30 seconds.
And how deflating for an opponent, Paul. You've got, it's a 4-0 game. And then all of a sudden, 2 goals in 15 seconds.
Oh, crazy, yeah. You think you have everything under control. You think you're doing okay. And all of a sudden, you look up, and it's 8-0. And forget about this for a second. When we talk about the scoring sheet, look at the scoreboard again. We're 17 minutes into this game, and it's a big goose egg for St. Louis right now.
Well, for fans who may not be aware, a shutout in indoor soccer is akin to a perfect game. Let's put it that way. In Major League Baseball, there have been so few of them. The Blast this year have been involved in 4 shutout games. They've shut the opponent out 3 times and have been shut out once. Blast Soccer brought to you by ABC2, the exclusive home of complete Blast game highlights. ABC2 works for you. Also, Pizza Boli's the official pizza of the Baltimore Blast, serving pizza, wings, subs, and more to Baltimore since 1985.
Danny Kelly preaches a simple thing, Gary.
And finally, Care First Blue Cross Blue Shield encourages each of us to take that first step towards a healthier and more active lifestyle.
Talks to his team every game. He says, guys, we hold the other team to 8 or less, we have a good chance to win this game. And that's the philosophy of being able to, shut teams down.
Well, I thought that could be 2 minutes inside the box.
Well,
Healy will get called just for the foul. That was Antoniuk making a nice turn towards the keeper. And there's a drive, and St. Louis is on the board. A bomb from Manzanelli, and it's 8-2 Blast.
And Vanzella's not happy. The referee.
The referee, Rich Grady, now trying to explain to the Blast. That was a fairly quick restart. Fans don't like it. Time of the goal, 3:27 of the second. Here's a replay from Metro PCS.
Blast are just kind of setting up. And there's really nobody standing in front of the goal. They just kind of shoot it in. I don't know whether the wall was even set yet. I mean, it was quick. I had turned my head, and I looked back up, and you were talking about putting the ball in the back of the net.
Manzanelli unassisted at the 3:27 mark. 8-2 Baltimore. First goal allowed by Vanzella tonight. Blast tests Ritchie outside the box.
He struggled with that a little bit.
Now foul called on Sinclair for St. Louis. Free kick Blast. Blast go with Noon, Looking Land. Zuniga on the receiving end with a chance from Neto. Kicked away by Ritchie.
Good job by Jeff to get out there and cut that angle down.
Noon with a steal at the yellow line. Good ball up ahead for Neto. Neto plays it off the boards to himself. Nice center for Zuniga. Well defended, though, by St. Louis. Now Looking Land, and they call him for a foul in the midfield. And now the referee waving a yellow card on Looking Land.
For that? You're going to give Mike Looking Land 5 for that? That's kind of ridiculous, and that's kind of a short fuse for the official.
I think Mike's saying the same thing, holding out his hand, saying, what, really? Now for that?
Come on. I mean, if you give that 5 minutes, then you're going to have to put every player in the box.
That's a fight. Still pleading his case, as you can see. A 5-minute major against the captain, Mike Looking Land. Time of the penalty, 4:58. So just to be clear, not a power play opportunity for St. Louis, but
take your best defender off the field for 5 minutes.
Absolutely, if not more. By the time he finally gets back on the floor, it'll have to be a dead ball. I mean, I've seen these things go on 9-10 minutes before a player comes back.
Well, now you're going to see Marco Mangione probably get some time here as the fifth defender with Looking Land in the box.
Here's Ferdinand just threading his way through. That one kicked over deflected over the boards. It'll be a kick in now for the Blast with 10:41 left in the half.
So a big swing in momentum here. The Ambush get a goal, and then they get Looking Land in the box for 5.
Daru. Blast Soccer brought to you by Action Business Systems and Toshiba, your marketing solutions provider.
It's going to be top of the arc here as the Ambush kicked it away out of play.
Tonight's music provided by Music Masters, a proud partner and official DJ of the Baltimore Blast. Here's the restart opportunity, top of the box. Mangione for Looking Land here, who's in the box with a 5-minute major. Yates on one post, Healy on another. And reading it is Ritchie, kicking it away, up ahead for Mangione, blocked out in front by St. Louis.
Good ball by Mangione to the corner now, forces St. Louis into their own end. Nice play there off of the deflection.
Yates on a good give and go.
Yeah, big
that's
punch
deflected away.
That's you see that athleticism by Ritchie.
Blast, though, still buzzing around now, foul called. Blast fans, don't forget to build your body with Brick. Bring your ticket to Brick Bodies or Lynn Bricks and receive your first month free when you join. Online at brickbodies.com.
We're going to need to move the wall back here.
Good call. There they go.
Good play by the referee. He had actually started the count and then stopped it to move and readjust the wall.
Open. Ritchie blocking near post, and the rebound score as the Blast now from Donatelli have taken a 10-2 lead.
It's a little unlucky if you're St. Louis. Ritchie makes the first save, and then it comes right back out to Donatelli, and he makes no mistake the second time with Richie down, puts it right back into the St. Louis net.
And with Looking Land serving the 5-minute penalty, Donatelli on the night, his second goal. His 10th of the year. He's got 24 points. Just a couple behind Max Ferdinand. Here we go.
Replay, the Chesapeake Employers Insurance, and Richie down. The deflection goes right back to Donatelli. Look at that, right back, and off the volley, he puts it into the back of the net.
So Donatelli now had a great year for the Blast last year. Again, had a 6-game goal-scoring streak stopped last time out against Pennsylvania. Has continued here tonight with a couple of goals.
Hard foul here on Mesley. Could have been 2 minutes.
And for Donatelli, by the way, that's his 64th career goal and his 91st career game.
No, the physicality in this game has really ratcheted up a notch.
Less than 10 minutes now to play in the half. Blast in double digits, leading St. Louis 10-2 here at the arena. Steal for the Blast in the midfield. Yates on the receiving end from Roquet.
Well, and after the first period where St. Louis handled the Blast pressure pretty well, they are struggling here in period number 2.
Blast, by the way, on the year, 4-1 at home, 3-1 on the road. The lone loss for Baltimore was in their home opener, shut out against Milwaukee, 8-0 the score there.
Okay, taken down in the corner, foul here on the ambush.
So this will be an interesting spot here for the Blast.
Yeah, it's pretty close to the box.
Yeah, close to the box and inside, way inside the corner kick mark.
Well, you got to move the wall. Come on, you got to move the wall back here. Seriously?
Well, he's gonna. Let's see. Yep.
He's got to move it back to the keeper. And you can't stay there. You got to keep moving back. Players like to do that. They create the area and then they move forward.
So basically now the wall is the post.
Moved 3 feet forward now.
That's your only option right there. Mangione blocked, unless you wanted to lift it over the wall.
Wow, Vanzello past midfield now.
Dumps it into the corner. Obviously has a lot of confidence in Roquet. Off the boards in the box, and Richie easily there in front of Yates.
Looking for Yates, but he didn't play it. He didn't play the angle properly, and he allowed Richie just too close to the keeper there. Richie was able to come out and make the play.
Yates will buzz around along with Donatelli.
It's all about the angles, Gary.
Yeah, that's what sports is.
I'll tell you what, the best players back in the day used to be able to, on their home floor, understand every nuance of the boards and just be able to play those to a T.
The goal scorer, Manzanelli, gets involved in the midfield. Now he receives from Sinclair. Kicked away by DeRue. Vanzella says it tipped off St. Louis. Official may not see it that way. It'll be a legal procedure, top of the box.
Well, same kind of play that happened in the St. Louis end a few minutes ago. And this time it was DeRue that kicked it away, and he kicked it over the glass, so it's the top of the arc.
So a good opportunity here for St. Louis.
You can't really call it a mistake. You're playing defense. They're just trying to get the ball away from your target guy, and he just ended up kicking over the glass.
Let's see how they roll here with 8:13 left in the half. It's their second restart opportunity. Third, actually. They've converted on 1 of 2. Glasgow with the 3-man wall. Sinclair, and that one is just wide.
Oh, good look. Just got under it just a little bit and over the bar.
Vandergriff here on the near side, picked up by Mangione. Now back to the keeper, less than 8 minutes to go in the half. Blast by 8 here at the arena.
About halfway through that 5-minute misconduct to Looking Land, the Blast are up 2 during that period.
3-on-3 for the Blast with Gonzaga in the midfield. Threads one through and almost goes in off St. Louis, and the rebound is just wide.
Mangione just high, actually, as Mangione just missed.
DeRue will hold it. 7:30 now left in the half.
That was a great thread of the needle by Gonzaga there after he did some magic in the midfield.
DeSantos for the Blast with 2 goals tonight.
Blast in no hurry now as they possess the lead, so they'll force St. Louis to chase a little bit.
Dowell chases for St. Louis.
That's why it's so hard to fall behind to teams like Milwaukee and the Blast. They do a good job of really milking the clock once they get the lead.
And this is a nice ball in the corner here for DeSantos, who is tripped down by St. Louis, by Sinclair. Clock stops with 6:58 to play. And it'll be a free kick for the Blast outside the arc.
Well, it's an interesting call that you call play on there, but if you call a foul, the foul starts to mount up on you if you're St. Louis.
Healy for the Blast on the ball. Up top for Noon. JT following in a long tradition of Blast players who started out in the front, ended up in the back, very versatile. PJ Wakefield has done that. Carlos Garcia, two of the Blast greats, have seen action on both ends of the floor and have excelled. Here's Wapu for the Blast, trying to beat a man down the lane.
Levy doesn't win to the goal, but he uses his speed to win the ball and win possession back for the Blast.
Blast in control now with 6:20 left to play in the half. 10-2 is the score.
See again, Gary, St. Louis in the midfield again using that trapping mentality against the Blast.
Neto! Rebound! Kicked away by St. Louis.
Nice idea. Nice athletic play by Neto, and Max Ferdinand does the dirty work along the boards, wins the ball back. So again, we talk about it. The Blast are possessing here and really having their way with St. Louis.
Neto, back heel. Ferdinand trailed by St. Louis defender, broken up momentarily, but how about Neto sprinting back?
Nice job by the St. Louis defense, but again, St. Louis wins the ball, then stands around, and the Blast out hustling them, getting to the loose ball.
Donatelli with a couple of goals tonight, stolen away. Here's a chance. One-on-one with the keeper. Vanzella with the play.
Nice job. Manzanelli that time with a nice steal, but Vanzella was able to come down and cut the angle down and make the save. Didn't give him a lot to shoot at.
5:12 left to go in the half. Blast with a free kick in the midfield. Healy. Turn. Nice by Roque. Richie, though, equal to the task.
I think Lucas caught Richie a little by surprise there. And again, Jeff with giving up the rebound was a nice play to get out there to make the play, but you can't give up those kind of rebounds.
Coming over for the Blast, Roque, along with Vandergriff.
Well, the referee signaled this way, but it was definitely a foul on St. Louis.
Foul on Vandergriff as Roque gets up off the floor.
Oh.
Well meant by Healy and the save by Richie.
Yeah, Patches didn't get quite far enough towards the outside or the far post, and Richie was able to get over there, cut the angle down, and make the play.
Zuniga for the Blast.
And then again, another ball in the midfield. Guess who wins? Story of the night so far in the second quarter.
Blast fans, don't forget you're at home with Hirschfeld, the official apartment communities of your Baltimore Blast. Find your home today at HirschfeldHomes.com.
Three lines
against the Blast.
And Looking Land with that stoppage will come out of the box.
Rates are at record lows, Blast fans, and Friedmont Mortgage is helping Blast fans save big by refinancing and help them become homeowners.
So Looking Land comes out of the penalty box, heads to the Blast bench. He'll be on the floor. Next opportunity, next change.
Underwriting and processing are done locally by Friedmont, so don't make a 30-year mistake by choosing the wrong lender. See Friedmont on the back of Blast jerseys or at Friedmont.com. Fremont's goal is great service. Tune in Sundays, 9 a.m. to 11 a.m. on 105.7 The Fan. Blast on the counter.
Oh, and Lucio with a nice job. That's a bad play off of the restart at the yellow line. It almost turned into a Blast goal. The ambush just can't do that.
Noon being hounded by Adamson for St. Louis. Foul on St. Louis, free kick Blast.
It's just a nice job by Dos Santos to understand where he's at on the field, and he actually forced that foul on Kimball that time.
Looking Land back on the floor for the Blast, so he was in the box all told about 7 minutes.
And the Blast actually increased their advantage while he was there. Good work by
that play. In other words, you have to be inside the box to use your hands.
He was right on the end, right on the fringe.
Looking land shot, blocked to the boards by Ritchie, coming up on the 2-minute mark here in the first half. Blast in control, lead by 8.
You know what's funny, Gary, when I watch these games, I think the thing that separates Milwaukee and Baltimore from the rest of the league is that when there's a play in the midfield or where there's something that happens, they're relentless. They don't ever, nobody on the Blast ever stops moving or working to the ball when there's a loose ball. It's just, they are just relentless with that, and it creates obvious opportunities.
Just picked up by Ritchie.
There's another example, ball one in the midfield, and it leads to a 3-on-1 for the Blast.
Well, it's two old adages, and it's true really in any sport except baseball. Defense creates offense, that's number one. And
Right.
number two, you can't score unless you have the ball.
And the other thing is, just the harder you work, the more benefits you reap. And that's something you see from the Blast all the time.
Yeah, the work rate, no doubt, historically in Baltimore, top notch. 1:18 left to play in the half. 10-2 Blast. Benzella, corner, makes the play. Look at this. Nice ball up ahead for Donatelli, and the Blast advance quickly, although it's broken up by St. Louis in the midfield.
That's a nice tackle there as the ambush avert a 3-on-2.
How about this from Daru now, and the Blast have an advantage. 4-on-2. Blast up ahead. Here's Zuniga, the cross. He should have taken that shot.
Blast are being too unselfish right now.
Here wide open. Nice save by Ritchie. 1-on-1 with Looking Land.
They're just trying to make that perfect play. And just as we talk about sometimes, one more is too much sometimes. And we've seen that the last couple minutes.
Blast forwards defending at the yellow line. Roque and Zuniga. Less than a minute now. Up ahead now for Vanzella. Less than 30 seconds to play in the half. All Blast here now after an initial flurry by St. Louis. Zuniga up ahead for Roque. 15 seconds, he gets by a man towards the corner around the turn. 12 seconds to play in the half. Roque turns off the boards, intended for Zuniga, picked off. 6 seconds now. Rolling it out towards midfield. Held in, maybe one more chance for the Blast. 2 seconds, 1 second. Lucio can't get it off in time. And that is the end of the first half here. With the score, Blast 10, St. Louis 2.
Well, St. Louis started fast. I think they won the first 5 minutes, but as the half went along, the Blast started to wear them down. You could see that Blast with maximum effort in that second quarter, and that's 3 of the 4 goals for the Blast in that second quarter have built a 10-2 halftime lead.
DeSantos with 2 goals for the Blast. Donatelli with 2 goals for the Blast. And the Blast lead St. Louis 10-2 here at the arena. We'll take a timeout, come back for your halftime highlights when we return right after this.
President of your Baltimore Blast.
And I'm Steve Perutka of the law firm of Perutka and Perutka.
I've known Steve and Michael Perutka since our days together playing for the Greyhounds. For over 30 years, they have ethically and efficiently practiced law here in the great state of Maryland. They've helped thousands of Marylanders, and they can help you. So when you need legal assistance, see my good friends Steve and Michael Perutka.
Thanks, Kevin. 2 great teams, the Baltimore Blast and the law firm of Perutka and Perutka.
Did you know that dancing can do wonders for your health? It's been proven to reduce stress, strengthen your heart and lungs, and actually improve bone density. Tests show it can even improve brain activity. At Care First Blue Cross Blue Shield, we give you even more to dance about. More choices, more experience, more doctors. So if you know what's good for you, keep dancing. Care First Blue Cross Blue Shield. More to feel good about.
Every day, all across Maryland, we help employers keep workers safe from accidents and injuries. We're Chesapeake Employers Insurance Company, formerly IWIF. At Chesapeake Employers, workers' compensation insurance and workplace safety have been our mission and passion for nearly 100 years, and will be for 100 more. We help protect Maryland workers because
at the end of every workday, someone's waiting for your safe return.
Connect with your local agent or visit us online.
Kevin Healy, President of your Baltimore Blast.
We've got lots of great halftime festivities for you. We're going to want to stick around for them. But first, let's start by introducing to you the Sparrows Point High School Band. Make some noise. now, please welcome the Sparrows Point High School Cheer Squad. Let's hear it for the Sparrows Point High School Band and Cheer Squad. And now, fans, you know, we all have our own favorite Blast player. He's a superhero in our heart, and with the rest of the team, makes every effort to defeat the Wave, Comets, Lancers, Roar, Silver Knights, and Ambush. But now, let's welcome, straight from Gotham City, a superhero who keeps us all safe by taking on the likes of the Penguin, the Joker, the Riddler, and Mr. Freeze. Ladies and gentlemen, and especially you kids, please give a warm Baltimore Blast welcome to the one, the only, Batman! Driving in the classic Batmobile. We're going to talk to Batman in just a moment. Batman, can we stop here and talk for a second? Nice to see you, Batman. Welcome to Charm City. Welcome to Blast Town. Quick question. What is your mission here tonight?
Greetings, Blast fans. This is real-life Batman speaking with my friend Jacob and Batgirl. Remember, always do the best that you can. No matter what challenges life has, always do your best. Thank you.
Let's hear it for Batman! tonight. All right, we also want to remind you, throughout tonight's game, Batman's hoping to meet as many fine citizens as he can. So come to the stage to meet the famous Cape Crusader himself. And if you'd like to
The
buy
Batmobile. Batman just gave a little pep talk to the crowd.
That's not Andrew Primrose driving that car.
Clearly not. Is that car going to make it?
I think so.
Let's see.
It's a tight fit, but Gary, if it got on the field,
Yeah.
it certainly can get off the field.
Seriously, though, I mean, like, look how tight of a...
Yeah, it's tight. It's an awesome car, though.
It is an awesome car. Hey, speaking of awesome, how about the Blast in the first half? 10-2, they lead the St. Louis Ambush.
Well, the Ambush got off early and really started to pressure the Blast in the first 5 minutes, but Blast got a couple of breaks. Midway through the quarter, Adrian DeSantos got him on the board, and the Blast took off from there. They built an 8-0 lead. The Ambush got a goal. Here's the highlights. Here's that first goal. Nice play by Zuniga to the middle of the box, and then the finish by Dos Santos. He wasn't done there. A few minutes later, off the rebound, Adriano puts it off of the half volley into the back of the net to make it 4-0. Blast then, watch this sick move by Ferdinand off the post and in to make it 6-0. And then to wrap it up here, Donatelli puts it home off of the rebound. And then St. Louis on the board. They score, but then right after that, here's the rebound play. As it off the volley, Donatelli puts it in the back of the net. 10-2 Blast at the half.
Hey, Blast fans, Chesapeake Employers Insurance Company is a proud sponsor of Kids Chance of Maryland. Every year, thousands of Marylanders are disabled by on-the-job injuries. Some, unfortunately, are catastrophically injured or lose their lives. Chesapeake Employers Insurance Company will donate $25 to the Kids Chance Scholarship Fund for every goal scored by the Blast. Please visit kidschance-md.org for information on how you can help or how to apply for scholarship assistance. Blast Soccer brought to you by Mission Barbecue, serving traditional American barbecue with the side of patriotism at all its Maryland and York, Pennsylvania locations. For more information, visit missionbarbecue.com. Don't forget to get the latest from around the league and follow MISL Soccer on Twitter. And Blast fans, don't forget tonight, Pratt Street Ale House after this game for a post-game party. Meet your favorite players and cheerleaders, Paul, while enjoying food and drink specials just for Blast fans. So, 2 goals by DeSantos in the first half, 2 by Donatelli. Ferdinand also for the Blast. Manzanelli scored for St. Louis, and the Blast lead 10-2. Vanzella still in goal for Baltimore. Ritchie in goal for St. Louis. And the Blast will have the kickoff to start the third quarter from right to left here tonight at the arena.
You know, we haven't seen the A game from Jeff Ritchie tonight, but the Blast really did a nice job in that second quarter of dominating time of possession, really making it a little tough on St. Louis, and making an adjustment as the Ambush tried to ambush the Blast in the midfield. The Blast went through the midfield and got some good looks on goal to build that 10-2 lead.
Play now in the midfield off the kickoff. Vanzella will field. Inside. Shots first half. Blast 20. St. Louis 14. Good through ball. Ferdinand now will let it play off the boards.
Levy Wapu just missed connecting with Ferdinand there on a chance.
Good play by Kyle Hobson to stay with Ferdinand. Now Ferdinand blowing by Kyle Hobson towards the box, broken up by Hobson. Rebound is broken up out in front by Vandergriff. Now here comes Vandergriff on the counter.
Cut off at the yellow line. You can't do that. That's definitely, you can't play from the prone position, and that's going to be Blast ball.
Free kick Blast now with 55 seconds going in the third. Blast riding a 6-game winning streak through December and now into January. Blast will be tested Sunday afternoon in Syracuse, their first game against the Silver Knights out there. DeRue working hard. Blast fans, don't forget if the Blast score 15 points or more tonight, and that looks pretty good, all fans here can redeem their ticket at Buffalo Wild Wings in White Marsh or Owings Mills locations. Buy a small order of wings, get a snack size order for free, order valid for 1 week after the game, limit 1 order per person per ticket stub.
And Mike Locoland was very pleased that he sent everyone to Buffalo Wild Wings for appetizers last game. Oh, that just missed.
Had a hat trick in that game. Zuniga, who had a hat trick out in front, fanned on it. towards midfield, and Neto will retreat for Baltimore.
Two close calls there as Looking Land just missed right off the free kick. And then ball just whizzed through the box and eluded a couple of Blast players.
Cross field intended for Daru, picked off by the ambush. And Healy now from behind will foul Acosta. Free kick St. Louis.
Wow.
13:20 left in the third. On the out-of-town scoreboard in the third, good game in Rochester. Syracuse 10, Rochester 10. Now just underway in the first. Comets and the Wave are scoreless. Blast now in their own end. Pressure from the ambush. Sinclair now in pursuit, or I should say Costa. They look like the Blast out there.
Nice ball, though. The Blast don't panic, and they are able to clear the zone. Only problem with pressure in the Blast is you open yourself up on the other end, and the Blast very rarely panic, and they always clear. Usually they always clear, and then they give themselves some opportunities.
Blast fans, don't forget tonight, post-game party. Good ball here for Roquet in the box for Daru. Post-game party at the Pratt Street Ale House. Meet your favorite players and cheerleaders while enjoying food and drink specials just for Blast fans. Also, First Mariner Bank, when it's convenient for you with free online banking and free mobile banking from First Mariner, it's like adding a 25th hour to your day, courtesy of First Mariner Bank. Cutting inside Roquet, now I should say Mangione through the box, picked off. Also, are you frustrated at work by slow computers or system crashes? Netacom provides flat-rate service plans to keep your computers running and keep your business performing. Call 888-NETACOM to sign up.
Some good chances there for the Blast. And again, can St. Louis clear and possess here? And they can. Nice job.
Controlled by Hobson. Now over the reverse field on the near side for Vandergrift.
Well, St. Louis just too many men on the field there as they had 6.
2 minutes.
And the ball was over there by the boards, and it's always tough when the ball's near the boards and the bench trying to figure out who's on, who's off, and just one too many that time for the ambush, so it's going to be a power play for the Blast.
Rich Grady making the call. See who goes off for St. Louis here. Time of the penalty, 3:17 of the third. It'll be the first penalty against St. Louis tonight.
Somebody has to go to the box. This is a point of emphasis from the league, too. The team's taking their time here with doing this. And finally, they send somebody to the box.
So the Blast now on the power play. Blast are 4 of 10 this year, 40%, best in the league percentage-wise. St. Louis on the kill is 13 of 19, number 6 in the league at 68%.
Little wrinkle here. Usually Neto's at the top of the box. Now it's Ferdinand, and Neto's down in the corner.
Yep. Donatelli, Neto, Ferdinand, Looking Land, and Lucio. It's not a bad quintet. Up and over by Donatelli with 1:36 on the power play. It'll be a goal kick for St. Louis.
Certainly not Tony's best effort.
Lucio trying to break one up, intended for Sinclair. Blast fans, Chesapeake Employers Insurance Company is Maryland's largest writer for workers' comp insurance. For a business coverage quote, connect with your local agent. There's Looking Land now for the Blast with 1:15 on the power play. Don't forget Maryland Eye Care, covering all your eye care needs from contact lenses to cataract surgery. We've got you in our sights. Lucio double teamed.
Oh, nice job by the ambush. They double team Lucio. They active in this power or penalty kill, and now we see the switch. Neto at the top of the box now.
1 minute left on the power play. Don't forget you're at home with Hirschfeld, the official apartment communities of your Baltimore Blast. Here's Neto. That one high. Find your new home today at HirschfeldHomes.com. Donatelli over to Looking Land.
That's why I like Neto in the top of the box. There's so many things he can do from there.
Lucio, short side. Kicked away now. 30 seconds on the power play. Lucio again, one touch in the middle for Ferdinand, broken up by Di Maria.
Lazy pass there by Lucio.
20 seconds on the power play. Looking land up ahead for Ferdinand, and it skips through. Controlled by Mesley for the ambush.
One last chance here if the Blast hurry.
10 seconds on the power play. Quickly up ahead, Donatelli over to Neto. In the box, a one-touch for Ferdinand, just wide. 2 seconds, 1 second, the penalty is killed, but the Blast are still in control.
And Looking Land upset. He wanted another crack, and Lucio wanted off the floor.
Blast now 4 for 11 on the power play this year. St. Louis successful on 14 of 20 at 70% on the kill.
St. Louis actually did a better job down a man there for that 2 minutes than they did in that second quarter.
9:20 left in the third. Blast lead St. Louis 10-2. Ritchie trying to make a play. Ball was too wide of the box.
Nice
Off the boards.
defensive play. Nice job by St. Louis. The problem for St. Louis, though, now is that time is a-ticking, and they need to possess the ball to try to get back into this game.
Blast take to the road tomorrow. Nice play by Ritchie. Up to Syracuse to take on the Silver Knights. 1 o'clock on Sunday. You can watch it on YouTube.
Oh.
Through the box, no one there.
Dangerous play there as DeSantos was lurking.
Blast trying to stretch their winning streak to 7 here tonight. And extend their streak of single-digit opponent scores. Oh, nice ball up ahead. Ferdinand in the box, and that one was just a half step behind DeSantos.
DeSantos for the hat trick, just missed. How do you miss that? It was a great feed.
And noon for Baltimore, controlling in the midfield, and finally they send it back to Van Zella.
Wow. Oh, here's the chance now. Good steal by St. Louis.
2-on-1. Van Zella comes out, and Healy on the back line for Baltimore. St. Louis will have control. Talk about the Blast defense a little earlier, Paul. Here are the opponent's scores so far this year against Baltimore. 8-8-12, and then since then 0-2-0-0-6-5.
And that 5, that last time against WrestleMania, 3 of those were
with
that
2 seconds
ball
left
that
in the
rolled
game.
in through 3 players with 2 seconds left. Yeah, it's been a remarkable run by the Blast defensively. It sounds kind of dumb, but it's really what you said a few minutes ago when you talked about it. If you don't have the ball, you can't score. And for the most part, the Blast have pretty much done what they want against teams possessing the ball.
Van Zella right in front of Sinclair, and then Sinclair a little extra there.
Oh, nice ball there by Roquet.
Off the boards from Healy. Blast fill the box with 3 players, but it's kicked away by Pollard.
It looked like the ball eluded all 3 of them, didn't it?
Here's Antoniuk now.
That was a bit unlucky if you're the Blast. It's a good idea by Roquet. Just didn't work out.
On the ball now is Di Maria, the player assistant coach under Daryl Duran.
Zonic, a nice defensive play as he up 10-2, just clears the zone.
Vandergriff now carries to the yellow line. Blast fans, don't forget, here's a steal now for Baltimore. Neto up ahead at Bubblegum Shrimp Company. We're cooking up great food and great fun, just like Mama likes it. We've got something for everyone, from seafood to ribs, steaks, and more. You're sure to go home happy. Also, Care First Blue Cross Blue Shield encourages each of us to take that first step towards a healthier and more active lifestyle.
Neto just outmuscled the double team. Now a 3-on-1 for the Blast.
Here comes Lucio now, one touch for DeSantos, and he skips it over the goal, over the boards, I should say. It'll be a kick in and a timeout. Metro PCS with no annual contract and blazing fast 4G speed on a nationwide 4G network. Metro PCS is the wireless company that gives you everything you want. Timeout on the floor with the Blast leading St. Louis 10-2.
free Chick-fil-A. I'm between sections 108 and 106 to see which section can make more noise. But you have to do it on my... They're excited. They're excited. But you guys have to do it on my cue. So everybody be quiet. We're going to start with section 106. Make some noise. And stop. Now we want to hear from section 108. And stop. Too close to call. 106. Stop. Stop. 108. Somebody's going to hate me, but I got to say the winner is 106. You won free Chick-fil-A. Everybody in the section enjoys a coupon for the Chick-fil-A restaurant at East Point. Remember, eat more chicken. Congratulations, section 106, and I'm going to run for my life right now, everybody.
.5:39 left to play in the third here with the Blast leading St. Louis on a Friday night. 10-2 is the score. Blast led 4-0 after one. DeSantos with a pair of goals. 8-0, just 2:47 into the second. Ferdinand and Donatelli. And then St. Louis scored at 3:27 from Manzanelli. Donatelli then scored. A lot of goals from Italy in this game in the second quarter, Paul. And that's where we are. 10-2 is our score.
St. Louis needs to kind of muster up some possession time and try to figure this out, get some shots on goal to get back in this game.
Benzella. Blasco with Drew and Lookingland. Yates up front along with Ferdinand and Roque as well. Blast fans, Mission Barbecue serves traditional American barbecue with a side of patriotism at all its Maryland, New York, Pennsylvania locations. For more information, visit them online, missionbarbecue.com.
Well, bad play there, St. Louis. Now a chance for the Blast if they can move quickly.
Yates one-on-one, and I thought that may have been over the line, but maybe not the whole ball.
Again, Richie's got to make that save. That's a pretty easy save for Jeff, and he couldn't come up with it.
Blast Soccer brought to you by Action Business Systems and Toshiba, your marketing solutions provider.
And St. Louis gets away with a foul there as they took Ferdinand down.
Also by the Holiday Inn Express Baltimore at the stadiums, Baltimore Blast sponsor hotel. Book your hotel room on game night by calling 410-727-1818. Ask for the Baltimore Blast family and friends rate.
It's just a lazy shot by St. Louis, and you can't do that. When you do those kind of things, it comes back to haunt you. The Blast just couldn't quite finish.
Less than 4 minutes now to go in the third.
Oh, no, and Levy pulls up. Looks like Levy Wapu may have pulled a hamstring there.
There he is, right there, middle of the field, untouched.
Did not stop play right away as the ball came free, and there was really no advantage. Finally, they do stop play, and it looks like Levy's grabbing the back of that left leg. That's not a good sign as he just pulled up lane.
Trainer comes out to talk to Levy. We'll take a timeout while he's being tended to. Blast leading St. Louis here 10-2 with 3:46 left in the third. Back after this. So Levy Wapu, one of three Blast rookies, seeing a lot of time this year. Rookie out of UMBC, a highly decorated player in the America East Conference, getting walked off. Looks like it could be a hamstring. I would assume his return tonight is extremely doubtful.
Looks like a pretty serious injury.
Zuniga now for the Blast. Towards midfield. Gets by Donatelli. And now here is Manzanelli. And that one will be a goalkeeper distribution for Vanzella. 3:22 left in the third. Blasco with DeSantos, Zuniga, Lucio, Looking Land, and DeRue. Now St. Louis.
Again, you see that time Looking Land just went over the top as St. Louis pinched in, and it looked like DeSantos caught an elbow to the face that time. But the idea for the Blast now is just to not go through the midfield, but actually go carry through, but also just pass over top.
Blast Soccer brought to you by MedStar Sports Medicine, the official medical team of the Baltimore Blast. For an appointment with Team Dr. Richard Levine, call 888-44-SPORT. MedStar Sports Medicine, 888-44-SPORT. Back to the keeper now. Vanzella will control. Healy now on the floor for Baltimore, along with Ferdinand. Also, Blast fans, you want custom Blast gear or to dress like the pros? Go to www.sport55.com for all your Blast needs. That's sport55.com. Also, visit MISL on Facebook at facebook.com/Major Indoor Soccer League. A couple of major battles in the MISL tonight outside of here. Rochester and Syracuse tied at 10 in the third. Missouri and Milwaukee, last we had was zeros in the first. We'll check that for you.
DeRue gets hammered.
Tripped up.
Yeah.
1:45 now left.
Certainly Blast in no hurry, going to possess here. Scoreless third quarter.
Setting up Roquet. Winning that battle, however, is Hobson.
Oh,
but got
went
back.
Right back. Great play by Looking Land.
Here's Mike now from Roquet. Oh, look at this. With a left towards the keeper, and it almost caught the back post.
Yeah, sneaky little play. Richie stuck the arm out, and before he knew it, the ball was right on him. And Vanzella makes a mistake there. It'll be a top-of-the-arc restart for St. Louis.
In Milwaukee now, Comets and the Wave tied at 2. No, Comets have just scored. Missouri leading Milwaukee 4-2, 5 minutes in the first.
Those two teams play 4 more times this year, 3 of them in Milwaukee.
That one high. I tell you what, Missouri and Milwaukee remind me of Baltimore-Cleveland.
Yeah.
Back in the day. Used to play each other so many times you get sick of them.
And then how about the last Pennsylvania game kind of reminds you of playing the Cleveland, right? Because it was Marinero or Karich and Marinero, right?
That's right. What a combo that was.
They would sit back and not play any defense and play in the offensive zone.
Start of the fourth now. Syracuse leading Rochester 14-12. Up in Rochester. Less than a minute now to go here in Baltimore. 10-2 Blast. Pressure now from the ambush. Vandergriff on Neto. Neto breaks free as usual.
Oh, great
Good,
ball.
nice ball from Mangione. They get back. Less than 30. And here's Ferdinand in the midfield for support. Blast will hold here.
No hurry. I mean, if you want to run the clock out here, they'll take a 10-2 lead in the fourth.
Coming up on 10 seconds now in the third. Here's the pass corner for Neto. Oh, off St. Louis and into the back of the net. Looking Land will get credit for what went off of Acosta.
That's tough. It's really that's a ball that should never happen. There wasn't much pace in that ball, and it still somehow found the foot of Acosta and got past Richie.
12-2 is the score for Looking Land.
4.4 seconds left in the third quarter.
Yep, time of the goal 14:56. Mike now with 19 points this year. First 3 games he had none. Last seven games, including this, he's got 19.
I would say that's a backbreaker.
12-2. There's Mike Lookingland, captain, 4-time champion, number 4 scorer on the team, number 3 in the league in blocks, and that'll be the end of the third period with our score. Blast now 12, and the ambush 2. We'll come back with our fourth quarter from Baltimore when we return right after this.
Playing soccer can be a healthy and satisfying experience, but it can also take a toll on your legs and feet. I'm Dr. Richard Levine from Union Memorial Sports Medicine. Proper conditioning, technique, and footwear are important, but injuries may still occur. Early diagnosis and treatment are the key to a successful recovery and early return to the game. If you find yourself with a sports-related injury, call our free sports injury line and speak to a certified athletic trainer. Union Memorial Sports Medicine. Experience matters.
Now for tonight's fan of the game, brought to you by Pratt Street Ale House. The winner will receive a Blast t-shirt courtesy of Pratt Street Ale House. So get up, get loud, and show off your Blast colors. Come on, fans. Blast fans, I know you can do better than that.
Final 15 minutes here in Baltimore.
Where's my biggest fan
Blast lead, ambush 12-2 after the first 45.
There you go. You
shots on goal. Shots
fan
actually
of the game.
28-16
Congratulations
Baltimore.
from Pratt Street Ale House. And
Through the first 3 periods, Gary Stein, Paul Mittermeier with you. Play is back here now. St. Louis trying to move it out of their own end. Okay, just another typical performance by the Blast here tonight, Paul.
Yeah, I mean, they just grind you down, wear you down, keep just coming at you after in waves, and you see it again here tonight.
DeSantos working hard in the corner, broken up by St. Louis, but taken back by Baltimore in the midfield.
You look up, and all of a sudden it's the fourth quarter, and you only have 2 points, and you're like, what happened? It's a combination of good defense, very good goalkeeping, and a lot of possession time, and the Blast have figured this out over the last 6+ games now.
There's a good ball up ahead, and a half bicycle kick taken by DeSantos and defended by Ritchie.
He's really been around a lot of the action tonight, hasn't he?
2 goals in the first period tonight, at less than 3 minutes apart. He's got 2. Donatelli's got 2. Lookingland and Ferdinand have the others for Baltimore.
Let's be honest, though, a bounce here or there, and DeSantos could have 5 tonight. That's how much he's been involved.
Wide of the net, plucked away by Ferdinand towards midfield.
Nice job by Max. Didn't really panic there, just waited for the ball, waited for the play to come to him, and just cleared the zone.
Zuniga out there for Baltimore, along with Noon, Ferdinand, Roquet, and Lookingland. Vanzella in net tonight. Ritchie for St. Louis. They go with Sinclair, Vance, Kimball, Vandergriff.
Well, the Blast are going to go a man down as they still have 6 guys on the floor. They're not even trying to hide it.
You're right.
Yeah.
2-minute penalty here by Rich Grady.
That was easy to detect. That one wasn't difficult.
Let's see who goes off. Looks like it'll be DeRue. Time of the penalty is 1:40 of the fourth. Second power play opportunity for St. Louis. 0 for 1 tonight.
Well, DeRue's going to stay on and kill this, and it's going to be Roquet that goes to the box.
So the penalty kill unit here is DeRue, Noon, Healy, and Lookingland for Baltimore. Sinclair, Dowell, the three-point shooter, along with Antoniuk, Di Maria. I've not heard from Sinclair tonight at all. He's their number 1 scorer.
Nice play by DeRue there. He was aggressive and was able to step into the passing lane.
Blast fans, does your bank give you cash back on your checking account? Well, MECU does, Baltimore's credit union. Go to mecu.com to learn more. Also, Blast Soccer brought to you by Perutka Law, Maryland's premier debt collection service and a proud supporter of the Baltimore Blast. Care First Blue Cross Blue Shield encourages each of us to take that first step towards a healthier and more active lifestyle. St. Louis now with 1:15 remaining on the power play. 12:30 left to play. Towards Sinclair, picked off by Healy. Sinclair still working hard. Lookingland is there. Ball is still loose out in front.
Yikes. It was loose for a long time there. It's a nice work by Sinclair to keep the ball alive.
Manzanelli with a touch on it. 45 left on the power play. Towards the corner, Antoniuk, double team, Lookingland. Foul called on St. Louis.
So this will give the Blast a chance to rag some time here.
35 on the power play. Blast have killed off 6 of 7 on the year.
Blast doing a great job here as St. Louis in their end for a good 15 seconds before they can even get out and start something and get something going.
And now 15 on the power play. Manzanelli.
Blast are playing a square here on their penalty killing, but they're leaving that one player a little bit higher up top, which is giving St. Louis some fits, and they end up killing it off. A lot of teams play that diamond, but it was a box for the Blast, but they just kind of slide that guy up just a little bit.
Sinclair working hard for St. Louis. The penalty has been killed by Baltimore.
It really forces you to be skillful and get the ball to the other side of the floor. If you can do that, then you have an advantage, but the trick is to being able to do that and having the skill to do that, to be able to cross that little wall they set up with those 2 or 3 guys.
Lucio denying St. Louis in the corner. Blast now just 10:35 away. Blast Soccer brought to you by Pizza Bullies, the official pizza of the Baltimore Blast, serving pizza, wings, subs, and more to Baltimore since 1985. Goalkeeper distribution coming up for Vanzella. Also, don't forget, build your body with Brick. Bring your ticket to Brick Bodies or Lynn Bricks and receive your first month free when you join online at brickbodies.com. And attention, Blast fans, the Blast have 6 goals tonight, count them 6, which means Chesapeake Employers Insurance Company will donate an additional $150 to Kids Chance of Maryland Scholarship Fund. Please visit kidschance-md.org for information on how you can help or apply for scholarship assistance.
Well, Gary, the big story now with 10 minutes to play and the Blast comfortably ahead by 10 is, can they get to 15 and can they get the appetizers for the fans? That's the question.
It was looking pretty good for the Blast or Blast fans, I should say, in the third quarter. But then early on, but they only scored 2 points. Well, here's a chance. Lucio!
Oh, Lucio. There's a good chance.
That had Buffalo Wild Wings written all over it. Sort of.
Well, he would have got him closer.
Closer. Yep. Ball
Great,
skips by Neto.
Another great setup by Neto. He's good for like 3 or 4 a game.
Yep. Neto is the master. 155 career, 156 now. He's got one tonight. Career assists.
You know, we always talk about how balanced the Blast scoring is. You know, every Blast veteran, here's a good chance for St. Louis. Every Blast veteran, with the exception of DeRue and Diesel, who are defenders, averages at least 1 point a game.
I was noticing that too. You can go down the list. Manzanelli, roughed up there by Healy for a moment. Less than 9 minutes now to play in a 12-2 game. End of one in Milwaukee. The Comets lead Milwaukee 6-2 the score.
Miscommunication there for the Blast, but they make a mistake, and what happens? The 2 defenders, Mangione and Healy, go down and block the shot. It's good team defense when somebody makes a mistake.
North of here tonight, Rochester has now taken a 2-point lead on the Cuse. 16-14 in the fourth. Don't forget Syracuse and Baltimore Sunday afternoon at 1 o'clock up there. Blast Soccer brought to you by MedStar Sports Medicine, the official medical team of the Baltimore Blast. For an appointment with Team Dr. Richard Levine, call 888-44-SPORT. That's MedStar Sports Medicine at 888-44-SPORT. Also, Action Business Systems and Toshiba, your marketing solutions provider. Music Masters, the official DJ service and proud partner of the Baltimore Blast. Experience exceptional DJs for your wedding, corporate, or social event. Call today or visit musicmastersonline.com.
And now for the winners of today's Fall Batmobile.
Less than 8 minutes now to play in the game. Blast 12, St. Louis 2.
How about that play by Vanzella there? Didn't panic, was a tough play, but able to handle the ball and move it before the defender got there. Wow, now the Blast are in time kill mode. You always see, as soon as St. Louis gets into the offensive end, 5 guys behind the ball.
I mean, it's a 4-goal game right now. You're losing by 10 points, right? You have a 3-point.
5 if you count 3-pointers, it's less, but yeah.
Right, okay, so four goals if you get threes. You have a 3-point shooter, quote-unquote, in Dow. Why wouldn't you go 6th attacker
Well, I mean,
here?
you almost have to think about it, don't you?
Yeah.
I mean, let's see.
I mean, this isn't working, clearly.
No, I mean, the way the Blast possesses the ball, I mean, you're not going to get many opportunities, so if you want to get back into it, you almost have to think that mentality.
Headed away by Noon. DeRue, little ping pong action in the midfield, broken up by the ambush. Blast just send it back and say, all right, that's cool.
Get it back with 6:20. We'll see how much time the Blast rag here. Again, Mike Lookingland, if they're not going to pressure, he's going to hold the ball.
Move it up ahead now for Neto. Target man in the corner. All right, started at 6:20. Blast have held it now for coming up on 20 seconds here.
When you think about this, you're running out of possessions. How many times is St. Louis going to touch the ball again?
Right. I mean, this is exactly like the NFL. Come fourth quarter, you got to figure maybe you get the ball 4 times at the most. Towards the goal and right out in front. Rebound is still alive. And one touch inside for Lucio, that wide. So from 6:20 to 5:37, the ball is still contested and it will still belong to the Blast.
No, it's going to be on Neto. It's going to be St. Louis ball.
All right, so basically a minute.
Almost a minute off the clock before they even touched it.
We're at 5:29.
If you got soccer balls out there tonight, hold them in the air, hold them and make some noise.
Now let's see. Let's play this game out. Let's see how long St. Louis holds it.
Well, let's see if they get a shot. Let's see how long it takes them to even get a shot on goal.
Not yet. Started at 5:29.
And they lose possession.
And they lose possession. So they had it for 22 seconds. Did not get a shot. Meanwhile, Blast now with an opportunity. At a goal.
Well, there's the hat trick for Donatelli. So Donatelli cashes it in the fourth quarter, gets us closer to the appetizers.
He does.
14-2 Blast.
It's a three-dog night for Donatelli. Time of the goal, 9:58 of the fourth. Tony Donatelli, who has been on fire, 26 points in his last 8 games. Got 26 for the season, and he now leads the Blast. Well, actually, Ferdinand now with 27, so.
Oh, excuse me, it wasn't Donatelli, it was Mangione. I apologize.
Oh, so let's go backtrack. Don't want to take one away from Marco. Bet his parents are listening. Marco with his 7th goal, 18th point of the year.
I thought your eyes were going, wow.
No, my eyes have gone. Timeout on the floor. 5:02 left. All you need to know, Blast 14, Ambush 2. Blast leading St. Louis now, 14-2 is the score. 5 minutes, under 5 minutes now left in the game.
I have to apologize to Marco Mangione.
You better.
Oh, good clear by St. Louis, but
they're like the first family of soccer here in Tampa. I mean, you couldn't have made a worse mistake. I'm just saying.
And you went right along, didn't you?
Yeah, I just along for the ride. The way to succeed in this business, just stay along for the ride. Benzella, nice ball up ahead. Look at that. A bicycle volley on a 60-yard pass.
Yeah. And guess who again?
How does that even happen? Blast fans, don't forget you're at home with Hirschfeld, the official apartment communities of your Baltimore Blast. Find your new home today at hirschfeldhomes.com.
Oh, nice play off the boards there.
Blast fans, are you a citizen of MISL Nation? Check out interviews, features, and more than 100 live games, such as this one, on MISLNation.com during the season.
Yates denied that time. Blast trying for that 15th point. And Dos Santos gets called for the foul.
Don't forget, Blast fans, listen to Clean Radio. That's KLEEN, launching January 1st, 2014. Change your music, change your life, cleanradio.com. Yates picks it up for Baltimore, 3:40 left. And again, you look at the St. Louis number, Paul, and this is becoming just old hat for Baltimore. 2.
Yeah. Great outlet by Vanzella.
Nice footwork by Roque. Blast keep it alive.
It must be so demoralizing, too, when you're trying to chase and catch up. Blast will hold now as we approach 3 minutes to go in the fourth quarter. Don't pull Missouri out, or excuse me, St. Louis out. I keep wanting to call them St. Louis, Missouri.
Well, St. Louis is in Missouri.
I know, I understand that.
Well, Missouri is closer to Kansas City. They actually play in Independence, about 4 hours from St. Louis.
Again, there's one on four now. It's the Blast, all 5 guys in the defensive zone by the time the ball gets turned over.
2:30 left to play.
Amazing.
Healy for the Blast, up ahead for Ferdinand. Now they pressure. They never went to the 6th attacker, and they never will in this game. Here's Neto. Quickly double teamed and quickly moves it away.
Yeah, but how about that? He recognized and then kicked the ball away from himself so that he could run and go get it again.
Hey, listen up, sports fans. Stop by your local Sports Authority where you'll find everything you need for your favorite sports. Sports Authority, proud to be a sponsor of the Blast. Sports Authority, all things sporting good. Less than 2 minutes now left. Don't forget, fans, you are invited to Pratt Street Ale House tonight for a post-game party.
Marco Mangione working hard there.
Blast fans, Saturday night, February 22nd, Hope for Life night. Please bring soccer balls and gently used soccer equipment to the game that night. Drop off the equipment in the bins when you come in. The equipment will be distributed to needy children around the globe.
Remember, Gary, hold on to the soccer balls, and then at the end of the first quarter, we're going to have a big throw onto the field.
Neto off the boards. 1:20 left. So that night, the 22nd, the opponent, the Syracuse Silver Knights, come to town.
What do you think, Gary? You think the Blast can put one more home in the last minute?
Some chicken wings are depending on it here. 1 minute to play.
Just another, just can't say enough, another outstanding defensive effort.
1 goal for St. Louis tonight. If this holds, Blast will have less than a minute now to go. Blast will have shut out St. Louis for the final, 42 minutes, 41 and change.
16 shots coming in to this fourth quarter, and I can't remember a lot of shots from St. Louis in this game. Now Missouri just has 4 players on the field. Now they put a 5th on.
If this score stands, the Blast will have allowed 15 points in their last 7 games. 2.1 per game. Kept alive by DeSantos, who almost had number 3.
That was, again, could have been 6 for DeSantos tonight. Good
Tackled away by Mangione.
Oh, here's a chance. Here's a chance. Chance for the hat trick for DeSantos. Oh!
No Buffalo Wild Wings tonight. 10 seconds left to play in this one. They call the dogs off, and the Blast will beat St. Louis, but no Wings tonight. 14-2 the final in Baltimore, Paul. Blast now on a 7-game winning streak.
7-game streak. Incredible defensive numbers. Unheard of defensive numbers for the Blast over those 7 games. And just flat out getting the job done right now. Home and away. No doubt about it.
DeSantos with 2 goals. Donatelli with 2 goals. Ferdinand, Lookingland, and Mangione scored. William Vanzella in goal was not called upon that often, but was extremely effective. And we might as well start listing the Blast defenders. There's game in, game out. Guys, Lookingland, DeRue, Healy, and more deserve as much credit as anybody else.
There was a point in this game where it was 8-2. St. Louis had changed the momentum a little bit. They got a goal. Lookingland got the 5-minute misconduct. They had their best defender off the floor. And during that span, Marco Mangione came in to replace Mike Lookingland. The Blast scored a goal. They went up further in that 5 minutes, and that kind of was the end of anything we saw from the Blast.
Player of the game, here he is.
Adriano DeSantos with the 2 goals tonight. That's the first one. This is the second one, actually. And Adriano involved in a lot of action tonight. Had 2. Made some good plays. We always talk about Adriano as far as the dirty work goes, winning balls along the boards, and he also had a lot of other opportunities to score as well.
Player of the game brought to you by our good friends at Pepsi. DeSantos with 2 goals here tonight, and here it is, the save of the game.
There you see. Just to kind of in tight there, and that was St. Louis's leading scorer. But Sinclair was silenced tonight by the Blast as he was held off the scoreboard.
So Vanzella came in at the .788 save percentage, and now he's even up that further tonight. So the Blast now leave tomorrow for Syracuse, their first look at the Silver Knights, who trail Rochester 16-14 in the fourth.
We talked about this weekend and a test for the Blast. They passed their first test at home with an impressive win, 14-2. Let's see what they can do on the road now against an explosive Syracuse team up there on Sunday.
Blast are 8-2 on the year in second place. Right now, a half game behind Milwaukee. Wave trailing the Comets early 6-2 in Milwaukee. That's it for us. Thank you, Paul. Thank you, Andrew Primrose. Thanks, everybody from Invicta. We'll see you next time right here on Blast Soccer.
Every day, all across Maryland, we help employers keep workers safe from accidents and injuries. We're Chesapeake Employers Insurance Company, formerly IWIF. At Chesapeake Employers, workers' compensation insurance and workplace safety have been our mission and passion for nearly 100 years, and will be for 100 more. We help protect Maryland workers because
at the end of every workday, someone's waiting for your safe return.
Connect with your local agent or visit us online.
Too much to do in too little time? Now you can bank when it's convenient for you. With free online banking and free mobile banking from First Mariner. Check your balance, deposit checks, pay bills with online bill pay, and pay people with Pop Money. And manage all of your finances with Mariner 360. You'll save time and money because at First Mariner, online banking and mobile banking are free. It's like adding a 25th hour to your day. Courtesy of First Mariner.